So my name's James. This is my wife Andrea. She was diagnosed in 2011, October, with inflamed optic nerves, and after a few years, she was ended up with the final diagnosis of MOG antibody.
Well, the test wasn't available then, so it was a journey trying to find the right doctor, going from specialist to specialist, even going to the Mayo Clinic, and just not being able to get the diagnosis because the test I don't think even existed for MOG. So yes, it's been quite a journey trying to find that diagnosis. In that time frame, I actually lost the majority of my sight, and I'm blind, but I have a beautiful guide dog by the name of Newcastle. He's under the table here. He's under the table here, and he helps me do what I need to do for my independence. I'm able to get out and walk and do what I need to do. And I have the wonderful support of my beautiful husband. He's been by my side since day one, and I'm just so blessed to have him.
How has it been for you, James, to have a wife who went from fully seeing to
This
fairly
happened
blind?
just 2 years after we got married. We were only married in 2009, so we were still learning each other and getting to be familiar with each other when all this happened. And you go through a lot of emotions and fear, and you even have those times where she's just telling me you didn't sign up for this, and maybe it's okay if this isn't for you. And being with somebody that's this chronic illness, and
Yes,
I just kind of reassured her that I took my vows very serious, and I'm not going anywhere. And I told her the joke is if you want me gone, you got to file a restraining order.
That'll
Other than
never
that,
happen.
I'm gonna be here every day.
He's my gem. That will never happen. But yes, we were dealt kind of a bad hand, I guess you might say, but we are making the most of it, and we're very happy to have found the Guthrie Jackson Charitable Foundation, and to get the support, to meet people, to get the information, to be able to talk to the doctors face to face. That has been a blessing.
And Andrea, you started, tell me what happened that day or the week.
So what happened is I woke up blind overnight. There was no little signal to say something's going on. I just woke up. I went and jumped in my car, got ready for work, jumped in the car, went to the office and tried to sign into my computer. I didn't have a class that day, thank God. I was an instructor for Comcast, but I couldn't sign into my computer, and I was really freaked out because I couldn't see. And I called my supervisor and told her I had to leave for the day, and went straight, to get medical attention, to get help.
Did you have any thoughts about what might be happening to you?
I had no idea, and I'll tell you what, I would have never thought that I wouldn't get my sight back. I always thought that it was gonna recover, whatever it was the doctors were gonna be able to fix me, but that never took place. I mean, I recovered here and there, but lost my sight again and again. I had frequent relapses. They weren't under control. So because of that, I had a lot of relapses and never regained my sight back. It never recovered.
That initial emergency room visit, now knowing what we know now, the protocol would have been 1,000 IV steroids a day for 3 days.
3 to 5 days.
3 to 5 days, and they did one and then sent her home with the liquid form of it to drink the next day and then the day after. That initial drop of the ball is probably, you know, you never really know, but we could have been having a different story now if it was done right the first time.
It's possible, but I'll tell you, that left eye went so fast. It was black. It never regained anything with all of the treatments. And then my right eye, you know, shortly it went, and I was completely blind. Everything was completely black, and I was scared to death to be in a total darkness and to be scared and to not know what's going on with you. It's just, I can't even explain that. There's no words to describe how that feels. I was in a very dark place, but thankfully I was able to get the counseling and go to the blind school and learn how to adapt and to overcome. And I have this wonderful support here, so that keeps me going too.
Wow. How did you learn to survive as a blind woman?
Well, it's a journey. You have a few bumps along the way. I was very depressed for the first 2 years. Like I said, I had to get counseling because I was to the point to where I felt like my life was over. I was never going to enjoy life again. But then I got my fight, because I'll go to the anger and I'll go through the depression, but then I get this little thing inside of me that says, you know what, you need to get out of this funk, and you just have to, you know, go out there and survive and find those resources. So I was able to find resources through my therapist at the time. She sent me, she gave me information for the Department of Rehabilitation and also the Lions Blind Center. And from there, I was able to attend the orientation center for the blind school. And that took about a year and a half. And it was residential, so I was away from my husband the majority of the time. On weekends, I would take the BART home from Albany to Oakley. And that was scary, taking a BART ride, you know, by myself, trying to navigate things. But you find the drive and you find the will and the fight inside of you, and that's what gets you to propel. At least that's what works for me.
Yeah. And you?
I love watching her when the fire kicks in. She's, you know, she's defeated, and she goes from that stage of being the victim to being a survivor, and it's almost a switch that happens immediately. And it's been not just this, a lot of instances in her lives where somebody's knocked her down or something has got her down, and she doesn't stay down ever. And that lights a fire in me.
We went through a lot of loss. So, you know, it wasn't just about losing my vision. It was also, I lost my job at the same time. I lost my ability to drive, my sense of freedom and independence. It was all taken away overnight. And to not have any answers, that was probably the hardest thing for both of us those first 2 years, is not knowing what was going on and not being able to find a doctor who knew anything about it. We got lucky going to UCSF and seeing Dr. Green, and he actually recommended the MOG test.
Yeah.
So it was 2 years until you found out a real diagnosis.
Yes, 2013 is when I received my diagnosis from Dr. Green at UCSF.
And then have you been stable since 2013, or no?
No, I have not been stable. After that point, I had some more episodes with my right eye and lost the majority of my sight. They couldn't figure, here's the thing. Medications, not all medications work for everyone. Like, some people will swear by steroids. They had me on steroids for 5 years straight. So I gained like 100 pounds during that time, still fighting to take that weight off. Steroids never worked for me. They never stopped my relapses or my attacks or damage. It just constantly was hitting. I was on 60 to 90 milligrams of prednisone every day. and it still did not help. I also tried doing plasma exchange, which I was able to get a lot of my sight back in my right eye. However, because of the disease was not under control, I lost my sight, the majority of it, never recovered it back. So I've been through a full gambit of treatments, just a lot of treatments. I've tried Celsep, that gave me really bad back pain. I tried Imeron, and that gave me really high liver results.
Liver function levels?
Yes. IVIG, that was the last thing I tried, was IVIG, and that was really hard on my body. I told my husband it felt like I was not living. I was not living my life because I had to take 5 days every month and to feel so sick, to have the vomit, the nausea, the headaches, to feel so sick. It just wasn't worth it to me. I'm on methotrexate now. Thankfully, I've been relapse-free for over a year. I did have some hearing loss episodes, though, too, in between.
Wow.
And those were also disease-related, they found. So it's been a journey with medications.
So you've been 1 year now relapse-free.
Yes.
Does that feel very different? Has that been a longest run you've had without a relapse?
Actually, no. I did go about 3 years was my longest time without a relapse. My longest time was the 3 years, yes.
And then the next episode was the hearing.
Yeah, 2 episodes of hearing after that. And to just wake up overnight and have your hearing gone, and to have that intense ringing and pressure, and it was responsive to steroids, though, for the hearing. I'll tell you, I was able to get most of my hearing back from tapers of prednisone, so that did work for me at that time for the hearing.
All right. Wow.
Thank you very much.
I tell you what, is there anything you'd like to tell the NMO community, both patients and doctors?
Keep fighting. Don't give up. Keep searching for what works for you to get through your daily lives.
Yes, and I want to say thank you to all of the doctors, and I'm hoping that more research will be done for the MOG community. And I just want to say to not give up, to keep finding that diagnosis. It's just so critical as far as how, you're going to be relapse free and not have those relapses and then have to have a disability, and it can be quite severe. So just don't give up fighting, though, because there is hope, and we just all have to stick together and find what works best for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.